Okay, guys, I was recording something else, but I know I already talked about this, but I keep seeing people celebrating, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to talk about this because I feel like a lot of Nigerians have forgotten that officials like to distract us with mundane things so that we won't focus on our focus. See, in case you don't know, this whole Bobrisky issue, which again, I can't even believe that we are focusing on Bobrisky, but this whole Bobrisky issue, to me, is nothing but a distraction from the things that are important. And I think one of their weapons is to use your own prejudice against you. They already know that a lot of people don't like Bobrisky, so they went after him, and so many people are celebrating. Meanwhile, many of them are not even asking, how come they concluded Bobrisky's case within 3 weeks? They arrested him, they arraigned him, they sentenced him, he's already in prison, all within 3 weeks. You know, if they can ensure justice because somebody abused Naira that cannot talk, if they can ensure justice for that, don't you think they should be quicker to arrest, arraign, and sentence those that are stealing our money? At least Bobrisky was spraying his own money. That is why he was arrested. But some people have stolen the money that is meant for you to have good roads, which is causing a lot of accidents on our roads, killing a lot of people. They've stolen money meant for you to have good hospitals, stable electricity, running water, which is making life difficult for a lot of people, millions of people every day. But many Nigerians are celebrating. They are saying that Bobrisky is influencing their children. I'm sorry to say, but if your children have access to the internet, they have access to millions of influencers, both the God-fearing influencers and the ungodly influencers. You cannot get rid of all the influencers. In fact, Bobrisky's page is not public. He didn't make it public. He has always made it private. You would have to request to follow him, and he would have to accept before you can see any of his activities on Instagram. If your children have access to the internet, I think there are bigger things to worry about online, like pornography. If you can train your child not to be watching porn, then you can definitely train them not to go on Bobrisky's Instagram page if you don't want them to. Because if you think that arresting Bobrisky is what will keep your children straight, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you may be in for a rude awakening. But you know, I digress. My main point is that look at the present Senate President, for example, former Governor Akpabio. The man was accused of allegedly stealing 100 billion when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom between 2007 and 2015. 100 billion naira. He's been under investigation by this same EFCC since 2015. That immunity no longer covers him. 9 years now, we are still on the matter. Meanwhile, the Network Against Corruption and Trafficking said the amount he actually allegedly stole was 1 trillion, not 100 billion. People's money. Just imagine where Akwa Ibom would be today if that 100 billion or 1 trillion was actually invested in Akwa Ibom between 2011 and 2015. Think of how many jobs would have been created by now. Think of how their schools would be. Think of how many families would have been lifted out of poverty. It baffles me that all the FCC did was to urge him to turn himself in. They didn't go to his house to arrest him like they arrested Bobrisky. In fact, the last time they urged him to turn himself in was May of last year. Today he is the Senate President, number 3 in command. After the President, Vice President, it is Akpabio, the man who allegedly stole 100 billion. He's a Senate President. He's walking freely. He has access to more money. He celebrated his birthday at a huge stadium. It's not like they don't know where he is. His office is not far from EFCC's office. In fact, all the 3 lawmakers that contested for Senate President this time around, they all have pending corruption cases. You know, like the former governor of Zamfara, he also tried to be Senate President. That is a former governor, Yari. Do you know that besides the 80 billion naira that he allegedly stole working with the former accountant general, do you know that in 2021, EFCC said that he also attempted to illegally move 300 billion naira from a corporate account into a generation bank? Do you know that? Guys, do you think that we'll still be having all these Boko Haram issues, all these bandit issues in Zamfara state if the governor of Zamfara invested all that money, all those billions that he allegedly stole from the state? Do you think we'll still? I don't think so. If he invested it in education in Zamfara, in creating jobs, in providing basic amenities, running water, good roads in Zamfara, Zamfara shouldn't be where it is by now. Today he's a lawmaker. You know, his office is not far from EFCC's office. They didn't pick him up. I'm really disappointed because the new EFCC chairman is a pastor. The RCCG pastor, Pastor Olanipekun Olukoyede. You know, do well, sir. You know, when the man became the EFCC chairman, a lot of people were excited that, now they will start going after all the big thieves. Now we have a pastor there, you know. We were expecting high profile cases. I'm sorry, but we were not. I'm sorry. We were not expecting Bobrisky. It was just... That's just not what we were expecting. But as a man of God, if you can go after Bobrisky for spraying Naira, let's pretend that that's why you actually arrested him. Haven't you seen the video of the governor of Niger State, for example, spraying money on the street?
Ṣé sister yẹn ṣó parọ́ ni? Kò parọ́. Ẹ wo sister tó sọ̀rọ̀ nínú fídíò tá wò yìí. Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ 100 ni. Ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tó kówó jẹ tán máa kówó owó tó yẹ kó wúlò faraàlú. Tán máa sọ pé débi wípé wọ́n ní ejò ó gbé owó mì. Emefiele lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta Emefiele tán gbé lọ sí court. Ṣé wọ́n ti grant ẹ̀ ní bail? Àbẹ́ ẹ̀ mọ Emefiele tí mo ń sọ ni. Ìgbà tí bàbá wa Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó ń du ipò ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ńgbà yẹn tó fi kówó lẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀ye àwọn tó kú nígbà tí wọ́n kówó lẹ̀ yẹn ni tẹ́bi pakú tí ò sówó tí wọ́n tún change owó. Emefiele yẹn bá a ṣe ń gbọ́ ó dàbí pọ́nà ti ṣé wọ́n rí kankan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi ṣe nǹkan kan. Ẹ wá dúró millions of dollars tí wọ́n sọ pé ó kó jẹ. Ẹ wo owó táwọn people yẹn ti kó. Ẹ fi wọ́n sínú prison náà. Mélòó la fẹ́ kà nínú eyín Adépèlé? Àwa ò sọ wípé nǹkan tí Bobrisky ṣe a mọ̀ pé yẹn náà ó ń dojú ti family ẹ̀. A mọ̀ pé nǹkan tí yẹn náà ń ṣe kò bá òfin Elédùmarè mu. Ṣé ti understand? Fine. But ká sọ ọ̀rọ̀ níbi tọ́rọ̀ wà. Àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ gidi. Wọ́n gbé wọn tó bá gbé wọn gbàtọ́ tá bá máa gbọ́ wọ́n ní kóòtù nìkan lọ san iye báyìí tó bá pẹ́ wọ́n á fi wọ́n sílẹ̀. Ẹ wo we dey play. Àbẹ́mọ̀ pa ń play inú Nàìjíríà ni. Kò sí wàhálà. Gbogbo a máa tó learn. Àdúrà tí mo kàn ń gbà ní wípé ká má learn hard way. Ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ̀yin bàbá wa mo kàn ní kí n mú fídíò yẹn wá ká jọ gbọ́ ni ká tún wo nǹkan tó tún ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ṣé mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe máa ronú kọ́lẹ̀ yìí ṣe máa ronú. Ẹ wo bí sister yẹn wo bó ṣe ronú. 100 ni ronú sister yẹn o. Confirm o nítorí wípé tá bá tún wá ní ká tún sọ níbi tọ́rọ̀ délé ní ṣé Bobrisky nìkan lẹni tó náwó lójú agbo ni. Àìmọye àwọn tó máa ná owó lójú agbo ẹ lọ kó gbogbo àwọn yẹn náà jàre. Ṣé ká máa fún yín láwọn fídíò wọn ni? Aláwọn fídíò wọn tó pọ̀ ṣé ká máa kó lé yín lọ́wọ́ ni ká máa show àwọn fídíò àwọn tó náwó bí Bobrisky lágbo. Ṣé ká máa show ẹ̀ fún yín ni? Ẹ ṣe normal náà. A mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe gbé Bobrisky ó make sense. Nǹkan tó ń ṣe nílùú ó make sense. Fine. But ẹ tún ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ àwọn tó ń ba ìlú yẹn gangan jẹ́. Ẹ tó ń kówó Nàìjíríà jẹ. Ẹ jẹ́ kófin Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ kó mú wọn. Bí òfin ṣe mú Bobrisky confirm torí pé wọ́n pófin ló mú Bobrisky. Ẹ gbọ́ abẹ́ dáhùn. Yà bófin ṣe mú Bobrisky yẹn ẹ jẹ́ kó mú gbogbo àwọn tó ń ba Nàìjíríà jẹ́ tó yẹ pé wọ́n ń kówó Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe àfàwọn nìkan àfẹ́ bí wọn nìkan lówó tó yẹ kó wúlò fún gbogbo ará ìlú. Most of àwọn tó ń ba Nàìjíríà jẹ́ tẹ́ bá wá sókè òkun gbogbo wọn ló ní account lókè òkun millions of naira millions of dollars spans náà kó síbẹ̀ o. Ìyá dẹ̀ ń já wọn ará ìlú gbogbo adẹ̀ máa wà okay. Ẹ wo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ̀yin bàbá wa mo kàn ní kí n mú fídíò yẹn wá ká tún jọ gbọ́ nǹkan tó tún ń ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Ẹ wo ẹ bá pín ẹ jẹ́ kó wọ ìgboro ayé lọ. Ẹ ṣe gan.